Did you ever wonder how Ed Sheeran's life was before fame? Surprisingly, he, like many of us, was not easy. Living with his fair share of struggles from bullying, to inner battles, insecurity and shame, to becoming a famous singer, Ed Sheeran's life shows how the artist learned to embrace his uniqueness and overcame life challenges in order to bring us one of the most beautiful voices of the era. The singer, songwriter, and guitarist are loved by all ages everywhere across the world. His voice gathers people together, even those who usually don't prefer his genre. He appeared on stage as a shy red-haired boy, but instantly won the hearts of everyone who listens. And that was just the beginning. Let's take a closer look at the ups and downs of superstar Edward Christopher Sheeran, famously known as Ed Sheeran. He was born in February 1991 in Halifax, England. He had one older brother and his parents have an art consultancy at that time. Although he struggled with mingling in school, he had an interest in music from a very young age. He was a member of a church choir at age 4 and later started playing the guitar. He was already writing songs at age 11, which was motivated by a backstage chat with Damien Rice. He did not only love music, but also his talent started being noticed by others around him. "It was my love for the guitar that first got me into music and singing," he said. At school Ed Sheeran was bullied every day, mainly for his speech disorder and large glasses. As a child, he had an operation that went wrong and left him with an eye disorder and a speech problem. He was laughed at whenever he tried speaking up in class as his mouth would freeze and no word would come out. It made him stop participating and raising his hand at all. Unexpectedly, when it came to singing and making music, that wasn't the case. He enjoyed singing in the local church and shares that playing the guitar in his room was the only time he felt in control of himself. To make things worse, his red hair wasn't helping him with his image in school, of course. However, he realized early on that while red-haired men are not attractive, they do need to count on taking action if they want to make a difference. In addition, he said it's what saved him as a musician. He said in an interview that being red-haired can seem like a bad thing when a person is young, but as a musician it has been his saving grace, because if we see a red-haired kid on TV and there is only one of them, it is very easy to find them on YouTube. Speech therapy was not going good and he fears most was that he'll be like that for the rest of his life. Thankfully, things changed when his father brought him Eminem's record. Ed Sheeran was stunned by how fast the singer was rapping. This motivated him and he learned every word by the time he was 10. He started writing more of his own music, and all of a sudden his stutter was gone. Ed knew music was his calling and he had to work it out. So, in addition to playing the guitar and writing songs, he started singing in different locations. Soon he had 12 shows in a week that go on for 4 years, and sooner he was already recording CDs and selling them. At the age of 14, Ed Sheeran took his guitar, packed some clothes, and went to London to formally start his music career. The journey was never easy. He shares that there are nights where he had to sleep in parks or in the subway. He had some nights when he didn't have any money for food and was often thinking of giving up. But he did not give up. In London, he was playing in small venues, producing more of his own music, releasing albums, auditioning and doing collaborations with singers he met along the way that made him play in more than 300 shows in 2009 alone. The big leap in his career was in 2010, and while it wouldn't be possible without the hard work and everything Ed Sheeran had done so far, social media made his success faster. Few singers were leveraging the potential of social media channels at the time, but Ed Sheeran quickly spotted its potential. He uploaded his videos online, and one of it was noticed by the rapper Example, who liked his style very much that he invited him to tour together. That helped him grow his online presence more, and people across the globe started watching his YouTube videos. Soon the media started paying attention to the red-haired boy with the guitar and the amazing voice, and some famous names and newspapers started talking about him. Being famous online, it allowed Ed Sheeran to start dreaming bigger. He knew that America would make him huger. He flew in Los Angeles without a recording contract or a place to stay. He began sending out his music to anyone he could reach out to, but there were no answers. Until one day, while on a show of a local radio host, he was taken to the stage. A little nervous, he started playing. Few minutes later, he got a standing ovation. The host, Jamie Foxx, was so impressed that he let Ed Sheeran use his recording studio. Further, he also let him crash on his couch for a few weeks. Right after hitting number 2 on iTunes with a new release, Ed was invited to work with Atlantic Records. With their support, he formed his label debut studio album Plus. It immediately sold more than 100,000 copies and later that year became the second best-selling debut album in the UK. A year after the release of Plus, it had already sold more than 1 million copies. After this instantaneous hit, he collaborated with One Direction and Taylor Swift. One of his songs, I See Fire, was also used in the movie The Hobbit. His next album, X, including some of his biggest hits, came out in 2014, and went straight to number 1 in the US and UK. Thanks to one of them, in 2016 he won the Grammy Award for Best Song of the Year. Ed Sheeran's life story is one of the present-day inspiring tales that can bring back the hope in the dreaming artist and the unpopular children. He likes to remember the fact that one of the coolest kids from his school later ended up being his plumber. That's why he believes in being yourself rather than following the crowd or hiding your differences. Let us hope that the events in Ed Sheeran's life so far and all that he's been through will motivate us to do something big too. We see in life we must have the courage to face every challenge to be successful in any field we chose to go or achieve. Thank you very much and have a good day ahead.